my friends, welcome to SJ Weekly. I'm sick again, fucking somehow. Thankfully, this time I'm on the tail end of it. If you happen to watch the stream last Tuesday, where Dave and I played Lisa the Painful with a patron supporter, we cut the stream off a little bit early because I started to have a scratchy throat. It turned out that I had strep throat, and I still kind of have it. And then Dave got it, and then his girlfriend got it, and then my girlfriend got it. So it has been a shitty fucking week, I must tell you. Today I am drinking green tea with lemon juice and honey in it, because it's the only thing I can stomach right now. It's pretty good. I'm thankfully on the tail end of this sickness, so with any luck, I'll be over it in a day or two. But Jesus Christ, I seem to get sick like once a month. It fucking sucks. But let's start SJ Weekly by looking at, not an article this time, but these are pictures that somebody sent me. It's from Pride Montreal, and they're doing a Pride March on, or rather, they did a Pride March on the 19th of August. And he had signed up to attend it, and this was some of the correspondence they sent him. So this is all normal stuff, right? Like where the march is taking place. But then under dress code, it says, we invite you to wear your company/group's logo as long as it has been approved by Pride Montreal. See the list below. And that's a bit strange. So if you go to the next picture, the approved logos for our group are EA Motive, Ubisoft, Eidos, Square Enix, WB, Keywords, Unity, Kitfox Games, Sauropod Studio, Clever Endeavor Games, Casarera Studio, Miscellaneum Studio, Pixels, and Dawson College. Most of these are video game developers. Some of them are indie, some of them are big names like EA and Ubisoft and Square Enix. But it seems like this Pride March was mostly sponsored by video game developers that have studios in Montreal. And here's the interesting part. Please note that any unapproved logo might lead to an important extra fee. So they're actually going to charge you if you attend this public gathering wearing a logo that is not from that list. So if you wear, like, I don't know, a beer shirt, or you wear like a shirt with like a different company on it, like Nintendo or something, or you wear like a Nike shirt, they're going to charge you. It's almost like it's almost like the Pride March is less about pride and more about advertising. It's almost like this is an advertisement march. And in fact, they mention this several times, like in the rules list, like, okay, can't use water guns, you can't throw confetti, you can use soap bubbles, you can't use alcohol or drugs, you can't hand things out to the public. Only logos of authorized companies can be worn and displayed in the parade. Why? If it were just a regular Pride parade sponsored by certain companies, you think they might have like a little float, or somebody might hold a banner or something. But why are you prohibiting other companies? This doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem like a regular Pride parade. It's almost like they bought exclusivity of the Pride parade. It's almost like it's more about promoting these companies and less about Pride. And it's almost like capitalism has co-opted their social justice structure here, and it's kind of funny. But let's move on to the New York Times article, How Can I Cure My White Guilt? This has been floating around Twitter the past week, and I must say, I found it absolutely hilarious. I mean, I don't have any white guilt because I haven't done anything. You know, like, I don't even think anybody in my family history has actually done anything. I'm sure if you go back far enough, everyone has somebody who acted ridiculously. But my family never owned slaves. My family didn't do any of the things that you should have white guilt for. And even then, it doesn't matter, because that should be like my ancestors' problem, not mine. Dear Sugars, I'm riddled with shame. White shame. This isn't helpful to me or to anyone, especially people of color. I feel like there is no me outside of my white, upper-middle class, cisgender identity. I feel like my literal existence hurts people, like I'm always taking up space that should belong to someone else. I consider myself an ally. I research proper etiquette, read writers of color, vote in a way that will not harm POCs and other vulnerable people. I engage in conversations about privilege with other white people. I take courses that will further educate me. I donate to Black Lives Matter. Yet I fear that nothing is enough. Part of my fear comes from the fact that privilege is invisible to itself. What if I'm doing or saying insensitive things without realizing it? Well, everything you've described here comes from two sources. One is that from the point of view of black people, you can never do enough. You will always need to do more. That's why whenever you see like a list of things of how to not be racist as a white person, the final point on the list is always recognize that you're racist anyway. If you've been indoctrinated with this point of view, that means that no matter what you do, you are always going to feel inadequate. And the second source of this would probably come from the black social justice warriors around you, who are reinforcing what you already have internally learned. Basically, you've decided to wear the mantle of the sins of your entire race. Unjustly, by the way. You don't have to do this, but you've chosen to do it, and now you're feeling the consequences. Another part of it is that I'm currently immersed in the whitest environment I've ever been in. My family has lived in the same apartment in East Harlem for 4 generations. Every school I attended, elementary through high school, was minority white. But now I'm attending an elite private college that is 75% white. I know who I am, but I realize how people perceive me, and this perception feels unfair. I don't talk about my feelings because it's hard to justify doing so while people of color are dying due to systemic racism, and making this conversation about me would be again centering whiteness. Yet bottling it up makes me feel an existential anger that I have a hard time channeling since I don't know my place. Instead of harnessing my privilege for greater good, I'm curled up in a ball of shame. How can I be more than my heritage? Oh, god damn it. Fuck you, Whitey. This honestly seems like a form of survivor's guilt, almost. If her family's lived in that same apartment in East Harlem for 4 generations and she's finally pulled herself out of the muck, she's also probably spending some time looking back at all those people she left behind. It might be a situation of how come I deserve to make it out and they're still back there. You know, I think there's definitely a survivor's guilt component to this. Here's Steve Allman's reply. Shame and anger are powerful emotions, Whitey, and yet your central struggle is around identity. You write that you don't know your place. In fact, your letter describes your place as a kind of a prison cell of privilege. What you really feel is trapped within an identity that marks you inescapably as an oppressor. Yes, this is true so far. Steve seems to understand this, that she's put herself in this box of oppressor and there's no way for her to get out of it. This feeling is especially acute right now, I suspect, because you're suddenly immersed in a milieu that reflects your privilege back to you. We do live in a culture steeped in white supremacy and class bigotry. Okay, he's off the rails now. As well as patriarchal values. But the solution to this injustice isn't to wallow in self-hatred. Instead, heed the words of the writer Bell Hooks. Privilege is not in and of itself bad. What matters what we do with privilege. We have to share our resources and take direction about how to use our privilege in ways that empower those who lack it. You're not going to empower others by disempowering yourself. See, you can actually come to this conclusion without claiming that we live in a white supremacy or a patriarchy or whatever. You can just quite literally say, people who have more should, at the very least, try to help people who have less. And it shouldn't be a legal precept. We shouldn't have like a communist society where people who have more are forced to do so. But it should be a moral precept. I think it should be voluntary, but I think people should generally do it. That's why we always look to rich individuals to perform philanthropy, and why we think it's probably it's generally a good thing, better than the government taking the money and trying to do it themselves. Here's the second writer, Cheryl Strayed. I think Steve's onto something when he notes that your anxiety is acute now because the racial mix at your college is reflecting your privilege back to you. But I'll go even further. My hunch is that you're truly seeing it for the first time. You grew up in a neighborhood and attended schools where you were one of the relatively few whites. It's possible your status as a situational racial minority gave you the illusion that you didn't have much in the way of racial privilege. Now that you're living in a community that, at 75% white, roughly mirrors that of the American population, you're feeling the full force of what it means to be white in a white supremacist culture, and it makes you feel uncomfortable because up till now, in some unconscious way, you'd exonerated yourself from it. You were the good white person because you grew up among people of color. Now you're another white face in the crowd at your elite college and ashamed of it. Oh God. Okay, shut up. I mean, these replies, they like start with like a nugget of truth, like a seed of goodness, and then it just grows into this fucking monstrosity. Really, I think the only solution for this person is a complete change of framework. If they continuously buy in to a mode of looking at the world that makes them feel guilty, no amount of extra work is going to is going to help that. You have to basically give up social justice. I mentioned a few times before, I've always had an idea for like a social justice self-help video, because social justice at its core is completely against the idea of self-help. You know, they expect society to change to help them. They expect the government to step in and help them, and they believe that it's oppressive to help yourself. But really, that's the way out. If you're in a shit situation, you have to help yourself. You have to do some hard work yourself. And this person is guilty because they've absorbed, or rather, this person feels guilty because they've absorbed this mindset that places them in a position where no matter what they do, they're always going to be considered oppressive, and so they're going to feel guilty about it. And the only solution, like, none of this stuff that they talk about is a solution. The only solution is to give up that mindset, because it's not true. It's not reflective of reality. You have to start doing some hard work on your own and figuring it out. And just because you do hard work and some other people don't do hard work, when you gain the benefits of your hard work, that's not oppressive. That's how it should be. But that wasn't the most ridiculous race-based article in this video. We have Is Cold Weather Racist by Damon Young. I can't fucking believe this, but this is a real article. It's on The Root. This morning, after walking my dog, I went back outside, popped open the trunk of my car, and removed some workout items that were still in there from my trip to LA Fitness Wednesday evening. A sleeveless hoodie, a white t-shirt, a pair of white socks, and some gray shorts. I usually don't like to leave sweaty clothes in my trunk that long, but I had forgotten they were still in there and was reminded when trying to remember this morning where that hoodie was. I wasn't, however, prepared for the clothes to have changed form. You see, it was 2 degrees in Pittsburgh yesterday morning and managed to climb up to 12 degrees today. It was so cold that my clothes were frozen. The hoodie, which had balled up in a gym bag, was now basically a head of lettuce. The white t-shirt was a fucking ironing board. My socks were flaccid popsicles. As I hurried back into the house, clutching my frozen clothing and cursing at the cold nipping at my nipples, one thought came to mind. This is some racist ass shit. This person seems to live quite a privileged life. They have a house, a car, they have a dog to walk. They live in a suburb, it sounds like. They have a gym membership at LA Fitness. I don't know if they're really suffering underneath the white patriarchy so much. And they think that the cold is racist. Yes, you read that correctly. Cold weather racially profiles, segregates, gentrifies, colonizes, appropriates, and is responsible for at least 90% of the unseasoned meats brought to company potlucks this month. It also possesses a changing agent that somehow makes black people even blacker. My first time reading this, I thought that this paragraph was kind of the mark in which you should see this article and think, okay, this is obviously satire. But it's not satire. This is not actually satire. This person actually believes this, and I'll show you how later. The mere hint of a chill seeping and sneaking into my bones transforms me into an awkward melange of every blaxploitation protagonist and Richard Pryor. I've called the wind a jive turkey, a splash of slush in my boots a goddamn good-for-nothing cracker, a lone snowflake somehow breaking from formation and finding its way past my parka, beneath my hoodie and down my neck, a sucker-ass nigga. How exactly is cold weather racist, you ask? Where's my proof? Well, first, fuck you for asking me to provide proof of racism. But since we're here, the proof is that cold weather hates black people, even though black people have been so nice and kind to cold weather that we don't bother it where it lives. If you saw a map of the planet and you wanted to immediately know where on Earth to find the niggas, all you have to do is check each region's average temperature and boom, your nigga finding expedition is over. I I wish this was a fucking fake article. I wish this was something on like The Onion or the Beaverton or something, but this is real. This is real. Aside from your boogie-ass Kappa cousins taking ski trips and sleigh riding on Ascots, we collectively let cold weather rock. If cold weather is walking down our side of the street, we cross the street. We're even nice enough to stay in the house for months while cold weather's out getting its groove on. Yet despite all these concessions that we've made, cold weather still hates us. And the word for that type of undeserved hate of black people is racism. So yes, cold weather is racist. So this was a ridiculous article, right? But this guy, he wrote a book called "What Doesn't Kill You Makes You Blacker," and it's a lot of this stuff in that book. However, if you go to his actual posts, he does this routinely. Why you just can't trust a man with a weak dap explained. 10 probably not all that interesting reasons why I got the title of my book tattooed on my arm. Why do black Republicans usually have such bad haircuts? An important expose. Yeah, telling black women to carry pepper spray to fight street harassment is missing the point. He does it all kind of tongue-in-cheek, but underneath that surface layer of comedy, there's a lot of seriousness in his articles. And I think Damon Young is legitimately just like a Tariq Nasheed clone. But it's not just black identitarians that have gone insane this week. No, we have white supremacist rally leader gets yelled at by his dad during a live stream. Jason Kessler was interrupted while filming a live stream on Tuesday by his father, who scolded his son for recording in his bedroom. Kessler was filming an interview with Patrick Little, a neo-Nazi who ran an unsuccessful campaign for Senate in California. "Hey, you get out of my room," Kessler's father was heard to shout during the live stream, a clip of which was shared on Vox. "I want this to stop in my room, Jason. This is my room," Kessler's father says. So this neo-Nazi apparently, and I'll play the clip in a minute, but apparently this neo-Nazi, he still lives with his parents, and he wanted to record out of his parents' room to make his place look nicer, I guess, for the video. Here, let's watch this video, okay? Oh.
Big Orthodox crosses on their chest, as Dr. Duke likes to point out, is Jewish. The breaking houses are in Israel.
Hey, you get out of my room!
Hey, sorry, I'm having an issue here.
Oh, you got a drunk roommate there?
Something like that.
That's my room.
I've got somebody who supports Orthodox Israeli, we're at a crosshairs on that stuff. I don't agree with.
Look at his face.
There's
My room, Jason. This is my room.
He's so fucking embarrassed.
Clean your room. I'm going to assume that's a parent there. I'm not sure.
My room, Jason.
Jason, why are you staying with... You're not staying with an Orthodox Jew, are you?
No, it's my father. Basically, the deal is my family watches American History Channel.
Oh, God.
7, and it's constant anti-German propaganda. The Nazis, the Jews, and the dude. I'm stuck in a situation
You can hear them
where
yelling
I have to stay with my
by
family
the door
because I'm paying for all these lawsuits, and
Yeah.
I can't afford to do that without staying with my family. But they're cucked.
Life has been pretty expensive the last few months.
Okay. So, so that's the alt-right for you. I guess are these the kind of people that make up the alt-right? I mean, I'm not sure. I haven't, doesn't Millennial Woes live in, his parents' basement as well? I haven't really met an alt-righter that is wildly successful. So, I don't know. The last thing to bring up is the voting from 2 weeks ago. So, on the SJ Weekly from 2 weeks back, I said I was going to make one of 6 videos, right? And they were journalists are not a protected class, forced civility, Islamophobia origin, Boogie, Anthony Birch, and there's one more down here that didn't really get that many votes. Cultural appropriation. That only got 35 votes. Somebody voted all of them, which got a lot of votes too for not being a selection. Dynasty Star wanted a new Gamergate video, and I think I have one coming. It's going to be about a Get Woke, Go Broke. That'll eventually happen. But of the 6 for the next video, the one that got the most votes was on Boogie. And I've been looking into it. I don't think there's enough for a full video yet. There's a lot of stuff, but I might wait until more happens. I know you guys voted, and I'm not turning my back on the vote. It's just that if I did the video right now, I think you guys would be very disappointed. So the next highest one was journalists are not a protected class, and I can start working on that one. I'm sure I will eventually do a Boogie video. It's just that there's not enough right now. I have enough for like maybe a 10-minute video, but I want it to be a decent length, and it wouldn't even cover the full story. So let's wait for some developments to continue happening, to continue coming in, and I'll work on journalists are not a protected class. Of course, I'll eventually do all 6 of these, but I just wanted to try out this voting thing just to see what you guys wanted, where your interests lied. And thank you very much for participating. And I almost forgot to mention, tonight, at probably between 7 and 8 p.m. EST, we're having the August community stream on this channel. So drop by. We're going to show off some packages that were sent to us over the month, that show off some fan art that was done of us over the course of the last month. And we're going to watch a shitty movie together with Twitch subs and Patreon supporters in a voice call with us, having a good time and riffing on this shitty movie. We do one of these every month, and this month's is tonight, if you're watching this video the day it came out. So drop by tonight and say hi. I hope to see you. I love you.